I had this realization today as I saw my brand new engine in my Integra Type R race car drive away as Tom was running out to do some errands, and I saw just this hint of smoke coming out of the exhaust as he drove away. Um, we got this thing put together, and we were getting prepped to go on the dyno, and we had AEM wideband in the car. Ran for about 2 minutes the wideband, and then it just started throwing dot 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 full lean. We're like, oh man, what's going on? Like we couldn't really figure it out. We troubleshooted it. We did everything we could. It's a pretty simple setup. This isn't the first time we've done this. So, of course we double checked all of our wiring. We expected, perhaps maybe it was something we did wrong. Double checked with all of our friends in the industry. Everybody, kind of did the same thing, said the same thing, said we're doing it right. All right, well, maybe it's a bad unit. So that unit originally came from a distributor out of Michigan, within the last 2 months, so it's a recent batch. So we went over to our friends over at Real Street. They're right around the road from us, and we said, we need a wideband. We're trying to dyno at your place tomorrow. Let's get this thing going. They gave us another unit. We put it in the car. Same thing. The thing worked for about 30 seconds, and then dot 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 full lean. At this point, we're like, this just junk, pissed off, irritated. I called AEM. This is probably, I don't know, maybe 6:30 on a Friday night. I actually take that back. 6:30 on a Thursday night. We're trying to dyno on Friday so we can go to the track on Saturday. Basically, the answer was, oh yeah, we had some bad batches. We updated some information and the firmware and some stuff, and we had some issues, and I kind of asked, what's the range? What's the work order numbers, the sales order numbers? What can you tell me about the bad numbers so I can go to Real Street tomorrow morning, get another one, and make sure it's not another bad unit. They couldn't tell me anything. They couldn't tell me what batch it was. They couldn't tell me anything. The only thing they did offer, they were good. They overnighted me 2 new ones. Didn't help me much because they overnighted on Friday. I got them Monday. Instead, we went over to Real Street again. Luckily they're right around the corner from us, and we have a good relationship. And they had an Innovate on the shelf. Let's grab an Innovate. So the next morning, we got an Innovate. It wires up completely different. So Tom spent the time, and our friend Kevin Van Cleve helped us, kind of redo the loom that he had done for us, and put the Innovate one in there, and it worked just fine. So, what's my point here? My point here is we seem to have the same problems, the same consistent problems with the same companies over and over and over again, yet for some reason we still support these companies. I'm not sure what the exact answer is here. I can commend AEM for sending me out new units. The problem is that AEM's bad units cause this whole trickle-down effect of bad stuff that we're going to have to at some point address ourselves. The engine was brand new, had never run before. So we were just kind of getting an island here so we could go to the dyno, break it in, and dyno tune it. The EMS saw full lean for, I don't know how long, 20 or 25 minutes of runtime as we tried to finagle this and try to make this all work. So it was just dumping fuel and dumping fuel and dumping fuel and dumping fuel, and pull the plugs, they're soaking wet. The best thing we can guess is probably the rings are washed out a little bit. So now my brand new engine and my Integra Type R race car that we've been spending a lot of time building, at some point probably needs to have the motor pulled and, back over to JBR so we can put some new rings in it and stuff. And it's just extremely frustrating to know that AEM knew that this problem existed. They knew there were bad batches out there, yet they didn't proactively do anything to get them off the shelves of their dealers. Furthermore, they couldn't even tell you what numbers on the batches are bad. This isn't a direct dig at AEM. This is just the facts of how this industry works. A lot of time people ask me, why don't we have more IPG products on the market? Why don't we have, camshafts or suspension or any of this stuff? And the fact of the matter is, I can put it to you one way. It would tear me up to know that on, say, a Sunday afternoon, if I'm spending some time with my family, to know that there's a racer somewhere in the country that has a part from IPG on their car that fails. For whatever reason, it fails and causes them to lose the rest of the weekend. It may hurt more parts. It may cost them more money to fix other stuff. It may, the expense to get to events, that's all just a loss to some extent. And it makes me wonder, it's like all these guys that do sell these products that consistently fail, that consistently have problems with, you guys can probably think of some products on the market now that are consistent failure points. How do they just keep on putting this stuff on the market? Like, how do they just keep on sending this stuff out the door, knowing that there's a good shot that it's going to ruin somebody's weekend, and it's probably going to cost them some money and effort and energy and time. We've started looking at maybe doing some more IPG stuff, but it's just the thought of knowing that no matter how much research and engineer it and make sure it's 1,000%, to think that my brand, to think this company's name is potentially going to ruin somebody's weekend would kill me. I guess the real point is it boggles my mind that these companies exist and that these products exist, and they just keep on shoving them out onto the market like nothing's wrong. Oh, you're fine. It's the best thing ever, There's a reason people bring so many spare parts of the same thing to the racetrack. It's like you look at any racer's trailer and you can see what parts fail, because guess what? They got a stack of them in the trailer that the manufacturers have probably sent them that they're gonna have, probably have to throw on their car at some point this weekend. So I guess that's the real thing. The takeaway here is just be careful what you use. Really dig into the parts that are on the market. There's so much just junk out there, and there's so much stuff that just gets passed on down. I'll gladly tell you the truth, whether I sell it or not. I'll tell you my personal experience. I'll tell you my friends' personal experiences. We've been racing for a long time. We have a lot of firsthand knowledge ourselves, but we also have a lot of friends that have been racing just as long as us. And we kind of have some information from them as well. We all kind of share the information and just gets passed around to all of us. So, that's it. That's all I can really tell you is just be super careful what you're buying, what you're putting on the car. A lot of times you don't even need these aftermarket parts. A lot of times it's smoke and mirrors as to why you're even getting these aftermarket parts. We subscribe to a keep it simple, stupid attitude around here. The less aftermarket stuff you can put on a car, the less parts you put on the car that have a potential to fail, the greater enjoyment you're going to have with racing or your street car or anything like that. So that's about it. I guess maybe I'll be more boisterous now about some of this stuff and let you guys really know some of the behind the scenes stuff that happens. But maybe that's our path. Maybe that's the learning lesson here is we'll get back out there and really start showing you guys what's what. Because we can't rely on anybody else to do it, and these manufacturers just keep on shoving this stuff down your throat. So have a good day. Let me know if you need anything.